Do you get paranoid when you get high? I think this is common for a lot of new stoners, but I feel like it can happen to anybody, especially if you've been smoking for years. Sometimes people just get paranoid when they're high. I feel like me personally, I don't do it as much anymore. It used to happen when I was first getting into seshing and getting high, but nowadays I really don't experience the paranoia anymore. And I think the last time I was paranoid from being high, I realized that I was paranoid from being high, and then it got me excited because I was like, bro, I really am high. This is getting me. But one of the most common things to deal with paranoia is eating a couple of pieces of black peppercorn. This is like an old trick that a lot of people have been sharing for years. I've heard many people talk about it. It's probably gone viral on TikTok 100 times because there's a lot of new stoners out there, and they're just scrolling paranoid as heck that their mom's gonna find out. Don't worry, you can eat a few pieces of black peppercorn. So it is the peppercorn, right? It's those little balls. I'll show a picture here or something, not just already pre-ground black pepper. But the reason that it helps with paranoia, or they say it helps with paranoia, is because it has a terpene in it, beta-caryophyllene, which is supposed to mellow your high out. If you were smoking or dabbing something with a bit more of that, you might already be mellow and you might not need it as much. But it is very common that people will say a combination of this terpene and you being high will just help you mellow out the high and maybe not be as paranoid while you're seshing. Now, I've tried this before in the past. It's been years. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really get that paranoid anymore. And when I tried it, I don't know if it worked. I tried it a few times and I'm like, did it work? Is it working? It's one of those things that gives me some questions. Like when people are saying, oh, bro, you just eat mangoes and you're going to get way higher. It's got a terpene in it. It's got myrcene right in the mango, so you eat that and you're going to get so much higher. But when I looked into the amount of myrcene in a mango versus the amount that you would get in smoking, there's so little in a mango that I'm like, bro, I'd have to eat 20 mangoes to really add a substantial amount to that. So I wonder if the same is true for the black peppercorn, because most people say you only need to eat a few, and there's other spices and things that apparently have a lot of the caryophyllene or beta-caryophyllene terpene in it. Black pepper is probably one of the more common ones, but a lot of people would have oregano or basil, maybe lavender, maybe rosemary. I also hear that broccoli has a lot. I couldn't find like a percentage or how much of the terpene beta-caryophyllene is in broccoli, but this seems to have percentages, and black pepper is around 7%, which is a decent amount. So maybe you don't need black pepper. Maybe there's a few other options that you could use to help with this. But I did see from a few people while looking into this, don't eat a lot of black pepper. Don't eat like a handful of them, especially if you have an empty stomach. There's a ton of people that just heard they needed to eat black pepper to cure their paranoia. They ate way too much and they either got like a really bad stomach ache or they caused themselves some other problems. Apparently eating a lot of spices on an empty stomach can cause like internal bleeding or something. So it's not recommended. And if you eat a lot of it on an empty stomach, you might just puke. But really, most people say you just need to eat a few of the peppercorns. They're like 7% or so beta-caryophyllene. You're probably getting a decent amount. Maybe just eat some broccoli. But this is one of those things I'm not quite sure. Like from my own personal experience, I don't really know if it worked. It wasn't like night and day, like, oh, I ate a few peppercorns and I'm no longer paranoid. I'd feel completely calm and at ease. It was like, is it working? Am I not paranoid anymore? Or am I less paranoid? Or am I just distracted now because I'm doing something? But I do want to hear from you guys, because when I was looking into this, a lot of people were saying it works for them, doesn't work for them. But I think at the end of the day, even if it is some kind of placebo effect, like a lot of people get with mangoes, even if there is some kind of placebo and you eat the peppercorn and you're just not paranoid anymore, it worked. If you ate the black peppercorn and you were paranoid before and then afterwards you're not paranoid, you got the result you were looking for. So it's one of those things like, if it works, it works. If you're not paranoid, like being paranoid sucks, right? Especially like if you're super paranoid, it could make you feel really bad. Some people will puke from being paranoid. They can just get sick to their stomach. So if you ate a few pieces of peppercorn and you're not paranoid anymore, it worked. I don't really care what the science is. But for me personally, like I don't know if it worked for me. That's why I want to hear from you. Leave me a comment if it did work, or if it didn't work, or if you have some other experiences. But this is something that I thought would be interesting to talk about. And I do want to see, does broccoli have more of the terpene beta-caryophyllene than black pepper? Black pepper is like the only thing people talk about, but they talk about it because of the terpene, and you can find that terpene in other things. So while I'm not saying you should try to do like a spoonful of cinnamon and hit yourself with the cinnamon challenge, if you're like, dang, I'm super paranoid, then I don't have any black peppercorn, but you got like some oregano or something, try it out. Just real quick on the oregano, right? That's what people joke about when they have bad weed. Or people thought they were buying some good flour that was going to get them high, and it was a bag of oregano, right? Just imagine like 20 years ago, somebody's talking to their plug, holding a bag of oregano, thinking it's weed. Like, this isn't going to get me paranoid, is it? It might just do the opposite. I don't know. All right, one more joke. Okay, if you really want to deal with the paranoia, just eat garlic. The vampires won't come anywhere near you. Either way, come get high with me on Twitch. I go live after 9 p.m. Eastern for a smoke sesh. Link your Amazon Prime. Give me that Jeff Bezos money. Follow me on Instagram, Cewpins420. And I think I made a video about mangoes about a year ago. So if you want to hear if mangoes make you higher or not, and hear me talk about the terpene contents of that, check out this video right here. Otherwise, have a lit day, my dudes.